Peace, fam. It's your boy Garfield Bright from the R&B group Shai, and I'm with the real R&B today, and I'm gonna answer some good questions, and hopefully they're gonna be to your liking, to your satisfaction. Put a little thought into them and see what we come up with. All right. Well, we all went to Howard University. So when I was 17 years old, that's when I first came into HU, and the first dude I met was my roommate, Darnell Van Rensselaer, who ends up being in the group Shai, the one who sings the chorus of If I Ever the High Note. And we were both 17, met him. Sophomore year and junior year, he kind of went his separate way. I went mine. He went to join Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. You know, I went into student government, politics, you know what I mean? Did some things around activism. And then it came back and met back up like the end of our junior and senior year. We were back hanging tight again. And by this time, Carl Martin and Mark Gay from Alpha Phi Alpha, they had formed a little group, and they were preparing for this big fat talent show. And so they had two more Alpha members that were rehearsing with them for like, every day of the week for like 5 hours a day for like 3 or 4 months straight. I was sitting in, and then 2 of those dudes quit right before the show. So Darnell was like, "Yo, G, you gotta be in the joint for the show." So I did, and then we got such a good response in that one show that we did that we decided to try to get a record deal, and then that's kind of how Shai was born, and that's kind of how I fell in. You know what? I was raised in a jazz household. We really didn't do church like that, so I didn't have that gospel thing within me like a lot of my contemporaries did. You know, Johnny Hartman, the John Coltrane's, the Miles Davis, the Sarah Vaughan's of the world was like, you know, modern jazz quartet, you know, Ahmad Jamal, those kinds of people, you know, Herbie Hancock, you know, the jazz version, VSOP quartet. That was my thing. And then, you know, of course, he played the Earth, Wind and Fires and the Mazes and the, you know, like the Luthers and, you know, all those different, you know, cats, you know, in the industry. So the Marvin Gaye's, the Stevie Wonders, the Donny Hathaways. So I was reared on music, but it wasn't a particular song. But what really did happen was I would sing all the time, even though I didn't care about singing or being a singer. But if I couldn't hear it on the radio, I'd just start singing it. And a few times girls would come past me if they saw me on the streets, you know, on the bus, walking down the block, and be like, "Yo, you got a nice voice," you know, at the corner store. I would sing anyway. And I'm like, "You got a nice voice." And I'd be like, "Word? Don't let me find out that the shorties think I can sing," you know what I mean? And then I get to Howard, and Darnell, like I said, my first roommate, who was a music education major, who was a serious musician, he was like, "Yo, G, you know, you got a dope voice, man," like, you know. And so those kinds of positive reinforcements kind of made me want to be interested in kind of refining what I had, my raw material, because it was real raw. I felt like, well, maybe I got something I could work with and try to define and make it into something. So that more than anything, more than a song or anything, got me into kind of singing. I still never had any dreams of being in the music industry or nothing like that, but God just kind of did that. Which artists in the new generation of R&B would I like to work with and why? Man, it's a few different dope artists that I think, you know, I would love to work with in the new generation of R&B. A lot of people try to knock it, you know, but there's some dope artists, man. Like, I think Miguel is dope. Can sing his butt off, got a dope little writing style, clever, you know, hooks. You know, even if you go back to like the Lotus Flower Bomb, just doing the hook, how he did that. He got unique vocals. I can't never think of my man's name, but he does a song, "We." There's no we without you and I. That guy, crazy. You know, maybe we can be on chill tonight. I can't never think of his, start with a J. I can't never think of his name. He's dope. And I love Solange. Just beautiful voice, and just her songs are kind of Badu-esque. Pleasantly surprised me. I'm a fan, and I just like her arrangements, her writing, just the way she hits everything is dope. I like Janae Cool. I even like Lloyd and people like that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cats out here that are like of the younger new school that I think of her, the artist her. The list goes on. There's some dope people out there that I wouldn't mind collabing with, for real. Well, you know, as a group, and we were pretty self-contained, we wrote and produced all of our own material, and each person in the group would write and, you know, collab. It was like the group effort was a collaborative effort in and of itself, you know what I mean? We never branched out. But I always thought it would be dope if all the 90s groups could just do an album together where we would actually have a dope single each But then in the interludes, we would sing each other's songs and play around and join in. And then the last song of the whole joint would be some big, huge collaborative song that we all jump in and just rock out with. That would have been dope. I would have been down to do that. But like I said, I love D'Angelo, Bilal, Lauryn Hill, and the Fugees, Wu-Tang, Nas. Like, you know, it's just, I would have loved to collab with a whole bunch of people if I could have, but never got that chance, you know. That's never gonna come out of my body. It's just too many dope artists. If I go all the way back from the Temptations and the Stylistics, you know, all that Motown stuff, all that Gamble and Huff stuff from Philly International, you know, the OJs and all that, all the way up through the Sades and the Anita Bakers and the Luthers and all that kind of stuff, even then going forward even more to, you know, all my contemporaries and the Jill Scotts and, you know, the D'Angelos and the Bilals and just too many dope artists, man, to have a single song. The Prince, the Michael Jacksons, the Rick James, the Tina Marie's, it's just too many to just dope songs that hit me for me to single out one as being the dopest. I'm sorry, y'all gonna just be mad at me. I can't produce no one favorite song. It's crazy. I would say Stevie Wonder is my favorite artist, though. You know what I mean? Slim margin over a lot of others like Donnie and Marvin and Earth, Wind and all of them. Like, but Stevie captures my heart in a different kind of way. So probably if I had to choose, it'd be one of his songs. Maybe from, you know, maybe from The Secret Life of Plants, maybe from Musicarium, maybe from the one with Too High on it. I can't even think. Inner Visions and all that. But yeah, it's too much. Well, you know, the whole group sung If I Ever. You know, people always think Garfield from Shai sing If I Ever, but it was a 4-man effort. So I'll sing maybe, you know, my part, you know what I mean? Yes, baby, yes. My. The very next time she'll be my friend, yeah. All right, just a little bit. Aaron Hall, was like one of my first favorite dudes. When I first got the Howard Guys album was out. And Aaron, with all the vocal tricks he could do, like Charlie Wilson type of, it's just ridiculous what he was. And them Guy songs, those were songs that stuck to you. Those was real hits, like defining hits. So Aaron got a special place, you know. Whenever I see him, he don't never call me by my name. He put an S at the end. Garfields. That's my guy. Dino, you take that mouth and turn to the side and last night thought tobacco. You know what I'm saying? And make that, Dino was underrated as a vocalist. He was one of the dopest vocalists out there. He had that Southern soul. Like, he had his own. People like Anthony Hamilton and stuff like that, people kind of feel like they remind him of Dino and stuff, who's another beast on his own. But it's people that's not on this list, you know. And KC, of course, come on. There ain't never been nobody like a KC with that voice. The way he did that Bobby Womack remake, and he got that old soul. And people don't know he Little Cedric of the Haley Singers. KC was a star and a pro way before Jodeci. Like, he's seasoned as they come. Like, come on, man. KC, come on, man. You know, come on. I can't even say enough. But yeah, but I can't pick no one out of them three. They all different flavors. They all one of one. And I'm not even in that category. Those dudes are like, come on, me. Those dudes grew up and was born to sing. Like, for real. Like, I like singing. I got a nice little, you know, vibe about me, a little flavor, but I am not a KC or Dino or Aaron Hall. Them dudes, I look up to them dudes. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, you got Stokely, you got Lil G from Silk, you got Kenny from Intro, you know what I'm saying? You got Wanye and all of them actually from Boyz II Men. Like, you got some cats out there that could have been mentioned in that too. That's D'Angelo, Bilal, right? Come on with all that. Lauren. Yo, if you're gonna be in this industry, you need to be the kind of cat that would do this without a record deal, which means that you got love and passion for it, because no matter how dope your marketing scheme is, it's gonna always come down to the music, and people can tell if you really love what you're doing. Make sure the music is dope, make sure it's original, you know what I mean? Make sure it's a one of one, like the people from my era, we all supported and loved each other's music because everybody was their own groove, their own lane. You know, Shai wouldn't like Silk. Wasn't like Jodeci, wasn't like Boyz II Men, wasn't like H-Town, wasn't like Jay, wasn't like SWV. Oh, I forgot about Coco when I was mentioning the dopest vocalists in the 90s. And the list goes on, but be yourself. Make sure you're doing it because you love it and not because you're just trying to make a quick buck, or that you're trying to just create singles. Like, create soul music from your soul, and people gonna feel that and love it. You know what I mean? And be true to it. Feel me? But definitely get your marketing right. The young cats got that marketing piece. But just make sure you follow it up with dope music and be creative and innovative. And that's all I can ask for as a fan and as an old head in the game. All right, so, I'm signing off. Hopefully I answered your questions. Salud, Garfield from the group Shai.